My name is Brooklyn Scott, and at 29, I thought I'd found my forever family when I married David Chen 2 years ago. What I didn't expect was to become the family scapegoat, dismissed as a gold-digging freeloader by his parents and sister. They saw my modest apartment, my second-hand car, and my simple wardrobe, and assumed I brought nothing to the table. Little did they know, I'd been quietly paying their mortgage, utilities, and credit card bills for the past 18 months through an anonymous trust fund my late grandmother established. Their comfortable lifestyle? That was all me. But tonight, at David's 30th birthday party, they're about to learn exactly who's been keeping their heads above water. The Chen family had perfected the art of passive-aggressive warfare, and I was their favorite target. David's mother, Patricia, would smile sweetly while suggesting I contribute more to household expenses during family dinners. His father, Robert, would joke about how lucky David was to have found someone who didn't mind being taken care of. His sister, Michelle, took every opportunity to remind everyone that she was the successful one with her marketing job, while I was just a part-time bookkeeper. They saw my humble background, raised by my grandmother in a small apartment, and assumed I was desperately clinging to their middle-class status. If only they knew my grandmother had been Margaret Scott, founder of Scott Industries, worth over $50 million. The trust fund my grandmother established before her death was designed to help family members anonymously. She believed in teaching humility and gratitude, so the recipients never knew where their financial relief came from. When I learned about David's family's mounting debts 6 months after our wedding, I quietly arranged for their bills to be paid through the trust's charity division. Their mortgage was 3 months behind. Robert's business loan was in default, and Patricia's credit cards were maxed out. Michelle's student loans were crushing her, despite her boastful attitude. I could have let them struggle, but David loved them deeply, and their financial stress was affecting our marriage, so I became their anonymous guardian angel. Month after month, I watched them accept the mysterious payments while simultaneously treating me like dirt. Patricia would gush about their incredible luck with bill forgiveness programs while lecturing me about fiscal responsibility. Robert would brag about his business turnaround, crediting his own hard work rather than the anonymous investor who'd bought his debt. Michelle would celebrate her scholarship that mysteriously covered her remaining student loans while mocking my thrift store clothes. David remained oblivious to both the payments and his family's cruelty, working long hours at his engineering firm. I documented every insult, every dismissive comment, every moment they made me feel small while literally living off my generosity. The irony was delicious, but the patience required was excruciating. The breaking point came last month during Thanksgiving dinner. Patricia had prepared her usual passive-aggressive feast, complete with pointed comments about everyone contributing their fair share. She announced that she and Robert were finally comfortable enough to start planning their dream kitchen renovation, thanks to their improved financial situation. Michelle chimed in about her upcoming vacation to Europe, funded by her newfound financial freedom. Then Patricia turned to me with that saccharine smile and suggested that maybe it was time I stepped up and helped with family expenses instead of riding David's coattails. Robert nodded sagely, adding that real wives contribute financially to their husbands' families. Michelle laughed, saying she couldn't imagine being so dependent on a man. David, exhausted from work, barely registered the conversation. That night, I made a decision. Planning my revelation required careful coordination with the trust's legal team. I arranged for all anonymous payments to cease immediately, with termination letters sent to the Chen family explaining that their benefactor was withdrawing support due to personal reasons. I also prepared a comprehensive financial statement showing exactly how much money had been paid on their behalf. $127,000 over 18 months. The mortgage payments alone totaled $54,000. Robert's business debt relief amounted to $31,000. Patricia's credit card payments reached $23,000. Michelle's student loan payoff was $19,000. I had copies of every check, every transaction, every payment that had kept their comfortable lifestyle afloat. David's 30th birthday party would be the perfect venue for my grand finale, with all their friends and extended family present to witness the truth. The party was held at Patricia and Robert's house, the same house I'd been secretly paying for. Patricia had gone all out with decorations and catering, probably funded by the financial cushion my payments had provided. Michelle arrived in a new dress, boasting about her promotion and recent bonus. Robert gave a toast about family values and hard work, while Patricia beamed proudly at their beautiful home. Friends and relatives mingled, admiring the Chen family's success and stability. David looked genuinely happy, surrounded by people he loved. I waited patiently, sipping wine and enduring the usual subtle digs about my appearance and contribution to the family. When Patricia began her speech about David finding such a fortunate wife, I knew it was time. I stood up, glass in hand, ready to propose a toast of my own. "Thank you all for being here tonight," I began, my voice steady despite my racing heart. "I'd like to share something special about this wonderful family that has embraced me so warmly." Patricia preened, expecting praise. "The Chen family has taught me so much about gratitude and hard work. In fact, they've been the grateful recipients of an anonymous benefactor's generosity for the past 18 months. I pulled out the financial statements, my hands perfectly steady. Someone has been paying their mortgage, business loans, credit cards, and student debt. Tonight, I'd like to reveal who that mysterious benefactor has been." The room fell silent, sensing drama. Patricia's smile faltered slightly. "Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at her. I am the Scott Industries heiress, granddaughter of Margaret Scott, and I have personally paid $127,000 to keep this family afloat while being called a freeloader." The silence that followed was deafening. Patricia's wine glass slipped from her fingers, shattering on the hardwood floor I'd helped them keep. Robert's face cycled through confusion, disbelief, and dawning horror as I distributed copies of the payment records to nearby guests. Michelle's mouth opened and closed like a fish, her usual confidence evaporating as friends read the documented proof of her financial dependence. David stared at me in shock, finally understanding why I'd never seemed worried about money despite my modest lifestyle. "The mortgage you're so proud of? I paid it. Robert's business success? Built on my money. Michelle's debt-free celebration? Courtesy of my trust fund. Those lucky breaks and fortunate coincidences? All me, while you called me a gold digger and freeloader." I paused, savoring their expressions. "But don't worry. I've terminated all payments effective immediately. Now you can experience real independence." The aftermath was swift and brutal. Patricia burst into tears, frantically calculating how they'd manage without the mysterious payments that had been their safety net. Robert's business associates present at the party quickly distanced themselves upon learning his recent success was built on hidden financial support. Michelle's friends looked at her with new eyes, remembering her bragging about achievements that were apparently funded by the woman she'd consistently mocked. David's extended family buzzed with whispered conversations, reassessing everything they thought they knew about family dynamics. Within an hour, half the guests had left, and those remaining treated me with newfound respect and fascination. Several family friends approached me privately, apologizing for their own dismissive behavior and expressing amazement at my restraint. The power dynamic had shifted completely and irreversibly in the span of 15 minutes. David found me on the back porch an hour later, still processing everything he'd learned. "Why didn't you tell me?" he asked, his voice broken. "About the money? About how they treated you? About any of it?" I looked at the man I'd married, seeing him clearly for perhaps the first time. "Because I wanted to see who you really were when you thought I had nothing to offer. I wanted to know if you'd protect me from your family's cruelty or enable it." He had no answer. Because we both knew the truth, he'd chosen willful blindness over defending his wife, comfortable with letting his family's class prejudices slide as long as it didn't directly affect him. "The money isn't the real issue, David. It's that you let them treat me like garbage for 2 years while I was literally supporting them. That's not a marriage. That's a transaction." The divorce proceedings were remarkably swift, given that I had the resources to hire excellent attorneys and David's guilt made him surprisingly cooperative. Patricia and Robert's house went into foreclosure within 4 months, as they couldn't manage the payments without my anonymous support. Robert's business struggled as creditors realized his recent stability had been artificially maintained. Michelle had to move back in with her parents, then into a studio apartment when they lost the house. She also had to take a second job to manage her living expenses without the financial cushion she'd grown accustomed to. The family friends who'd witnessed the revelation spread the story throughout their social circle, making the Chen situation a cautionary tale about gratitude and assumptions. David moved into a modest apartment, finally understanding the financial reality most people his age faced without hidden family wealth supporting them. As for me, I returned to my grandmother's estate, which I'd kept modest and understated throughout my marriage. I resumed my real work as a board member of Scott Industries and increased my involvement in the trust fund that had exposed the Chen family's true nature. The experience taught me valuable lessons about character assessment and the importance of being known for who I truly am. I began dating again, but with complete transparency about my background and expectations. The story of my in-laws' comeuppance became legendary in certain social circles, serving as a reminder that assumptions about people's worth can be dangerously wrong. 6 months later, I received a handwritten letter from Patricia, apologizing for her treatment of me and expressing gratitude for the help I'd provided. It went straight into the trash. Some lessons come too late to matter.